pest-free tree. Oh boy, here we go again. Hey Andy, how's it going, brother?
I can, man. It's getting better and better every day. I wake up every morning. I go, oh my God, I'm still in this body. Yay!
I got it again. Woohoo!
No, it's a surprise. It really is. It's a surprise. But as I was telling you before we went on, you'd be surprised how many people come to me with a tree problem or a pest control problem or a disease problem. And what they've been taught is, tell me what to spray on that.
Yeah.
Tell me what to spray to deal with it. And then when I've learned not to insult people because it's really insult. Listen, I would say, so you're an organic cook, but you wonder why your plants are not doing well, but what have you done to the soil? You don't connect that there's something going on with the soil because that's what's going on with your plants. They don't connect that. So, like I told you, one lady says, I finally got around to say, well, I said, your soil's dead. She says, no, I'm not. I put in brand new soil. I said, when did you do that? 9 years ago. I go, okay, right? Okay. So it's a hard, it's like the speed of light. We have to do a barrier we have to break.
Yeah.
It's the speed of light. And you can go faster than the speed of light, so it's a barrier. But it's a barrier that we have put there by. It's been how's everybody? Kentucky in the house. Oh, Kentucky! My goodness, where in Kentucky? I bet you he can say that. Where in Kentucky? I'd like to know. I like Kentucky. It's one of my favorite places.
Beautiful area, that's for sure.
It is a when I lived in Gainesville, Florida, I used to go up and down the whole coast there. All those places in the line in a row. Each of them have something specific that I like to eat. And they're totally organic. They have really good soil. They know how to take care of their environment, the little culture they got going there. Another one, Alberta, Canada. Oh, that's you. No, that's Scotty Thomas.
No, she's saying Scotty Tim's hello, Kentucky from Alberta, Canada.
Grand Rivers.
Yeah.
That is really cool. Grand River sounds like a really cool name. Probably has something to do with some rivers.
I would think maybe there's a possibility of that, Andy. Yeah.
And rivers are so cool because they basically, the water is really structured water in the river. Every river in the world that the earth uses structures the water, and the water holds the information. That's the key, because the water will have the trace minerals for starters. And they would be, normally trace minerals don't dissolve in water, but the way nature made, they're in water. They're in the water.
Yeah.
Right. So then when they come onto the earth, or a lot of times what happens, they come from the rain. But when they're structured, the information is in there, and the plants, when they drink it, they get that information.
Yeah.
He's in between Tennessee River and Cumberland. Those are such cool names. I like Cumberland. I'm not really sure what kind of land it is. It's like Hobbit land. Is it hobbits? Right? No, Cumberland.
I'm not. Yeah, that cattle. One. I think it's bigger hills than a Hobbit hill. Though.
It feels like cattle, right? It feels like lots of cattle. So today we're going to be talking about it's pest-free tree. The other day I was talking about the palm trees, and somebody said there's not a tree. So I'm trying to stay away from the word tree, unless you people have a hard time figuring out what a tree is. But it's so basically, I should say, pest-free plants.
Yes, that would be a better one.
It covers it, because people think that what's good for the trees is not necessarily good for plants, and rules are different. No, it's the same rules. It's the conditions. There are certain conditions, as you mentioned quite often, that have to be met for these pests or these diseases to flourish. Right, and always one of them, whether it's a tree, a flower, a rose, whatever, is the soil. And the soil has its own conditions too that needs to be met in order for everything to function. So if you have an environment that's toxic, that's not going to be very helpful for your plant either. But it comes down to one of the things that they definitely need. And I talk a lot about this. I mean, almost every show I always manage to mention the word compost, right? always manage to mention the word microbes or biology, and I always manage to mention the word minerals.
Yeah.
Every single time. I mean, this is something like you're going to say, oh, no, he's going to talk about minerals again. He's going to talk about the biology again. Remember, it's all about caring, sharing, and community. I know that's what I'm here for. I want to share. I care about this community, and I always want to share what I know. Okay. Hi, Diggity.
Yeah.
Hi, Diggity Dank Man. Thank you for signing up on my website. I think I saw a comment you made. I'm not sure. I'm actually learned how to read comments now.
Cool.
Yeah, you think that's a good tree, man? That's very cool. I like it. I have a one that I work for. Next time I'll bring it up. You can see I made a wave, and I take that tree.
Cool.
Well, I take that tree and I have different layers. I can put on one layer is one thing, another layer is another one. I love mixing them all up. So where was I talking about? Oh yeah, so one of the things that people always talk to me about is that I have a specific disease and I want a specific treatment for that disease. Okay, so and it's true that each plant has a different kind of a disease that normally in the normal world you would deal with it. Even in the organic world, because the organic world is not, it hasn't been, I don't know if I'm going to say this correctly, but, I was fortunate that I started reading Organic Gardening magazine with the Rodale people.
Yeah.
They were around a long time. They have an institute. They sold the Organic Gardening magazine, but now they have a farm. But these people have always been talking about the biology. They don't call it the biology. They talk about living organisms in the soil. It's the same thing with biodynamics. I studied biodynamics. Yeah, it's all about the biology that in the soil. Yep. But the normal organic gardening, they don't seem to relate to the biology so much. They make compost, and they make the best compost they can. If the guy is really good, a really good old gardener boy, he will say, yeah, the compost is rich with living things. Yeah. But if it's just a person who's making compost and wants to sell organic because he's not doing very well with the chemicals, he figures compost is going to help. He doesn't relate to it as you're bringing in more biology. He relates to it. You're bringing in more food. You're feeding it as a fertilizer. He would think, well, Jay, if it's a fertilizer that's feeding it, then what is it? Is it the fertilizer that the trees are eating, the plants are eating? You see, that's what they think. They think, I'm going to feed it with this chemical organic fertilizer. And therefore, the plant is going to eat that organic fertilizer. There's his food. And they miss a crucial in-between steps to that process.
Yeah, big one.
And a lot of people, there's one lady says, I've been organic for 30 years. And this citrus tree has been here with me for 30 years. And it's dying and dying and dying. And my next door neighbor came over and he gave me some 20 chemical fertilizer. Next to that tree went boing. So there's something wrong with the organic world here because this tree is really looking good, even though it kind of, then she had diseases and pests after it. But she says, so there's something wrong with organic. I says, lady, first of all, chemical fertilizers do not need living organisms. Chemical fertilizer is a shot in the arm. I had a Security Road magazine. It was a small packet full of amazing frustrating gardening. That's right. Rodale magazine. It's called Organic Gardening. And it's like, as a kid, I remember it said, feed the soil. I go, it's the first time I heard that. Feed the soil. Because usually people say,
feed me. Feed me. Don't feed soil. What are you doing feeding the soil?
People say, Andy, how are you going to feed my plants? How are you going to feed the tomato plants? How are you going to feed the roses? What is it you're going to give it to them? I said, I'm not giving them anything. I'm giving your soil everything. And your soil is going to give it to them. And they said, this guy's absolutely crazy. He's nuts. They actually called me Captain Crazy. Okay, Captain Crazy with 3 C's. Because I am totally bonkers. And forget when I start to talk to George, the microbe. I give them names. I give the worms names. I give everybody, because they're living things. Giving them a name means you acknowledge that they're a living thing.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. And it works as simple as that. But people don't get that. If they don't get that, then they're not going to take care of their soil. Yeah. And you know what I mean? So, and it's a 99% of the people that come to me, I have this problem. This is a problem I want to solve. And I went to the nursery and they were trying to give me this chemical stuff and I don't want to use it. And they don't have any really good organic solutions either to this particular problem, because there are no organic solutions to that particular problem. There's only one solution, and they can't sell you that. They can't sell you, use this to heal your soil, even though that would be a pretty good store. Heal the earth, heal the soil store, right? Where everything you go in there is geared towards healing the soil, bringing the microbes back, teaching you how to make compost tea, how to make the real reason why you make compost, learning about rock dust. The whole thing about rock dust that people need to understand is that it's minerals. And normally nature provides those minerals. That's the way it works. Normally, remineralization is a natural process that Mother Earth does. So theoretically, all you have to do is bring the soil back to life because the minerals are there. But my content is that when you have a disease, you want to do an immediate care. Hi, Ken. Hi, Andy. Wait, I'm Andy. Oh, it's hi, John. Hey, man, where are you from? That was a cool picture. You like a mean guy, man. It's
no, remember that's an album cover, isn't it? Wasn't that an album cover? Because we asked him a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
No, I don't remember. Hey, listen, put that Scotty Timmons up there for a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough talking biology and microbiology and soil. That's why I'm here. I've always been told if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Like I said, that's why we are here. It really is. They have this blank look on your face. And to me, I got it down pat now. Every time I go any place, and I've learned not to tell people, well, your soil's dead, because they go, okay, bye. They do not believe it. Don't tell me my soil. I got really good soil. Look how dark it is. I said, when's the last time you ever had soil test? Never. When have you actually brought some live compost into the soil? Never. What kind of fertilizer using? Chemical fertilizers, the MG one, you know the name of it, or any other chemical fertilizer out there that has maybe 3 numbers on them. All of them are assaults. All of them destroy the biology. The city does it on a regular basis. Everything's destroyed. There's more things destroying the biology in the soil, the biology of the earth, than anything promoting the biology of the soil and promoting the biology of the earth. Right? It's big time. And so that's money. That's the sicker we are, the more we spend on trying to get healthy, even though the relationship is it's not a coincidence that our bodies and the soil are going through the very same problem. More and more people now, what is this? Cheers, brother, John. At least I can read this thing, because there's no way I could type and talk at the same time. I would do that, but I would be right back.
Yeah, exactly, right.
So the relationship, there's a reason why that's happening, because one of the things I tell people, if you want to have a happy soul, S-O-U-L, then you better have a happy body. And in order to have a happy, healthy body, you had better have a healthy environment, and you had better start eating healthy food. The same thing happens with the soil. In order to have healthy soil, you had better start giving them healthy food.
Yeah.
A well-balanced diet. One lady says, well, I buy organic vegetables, and therefore it has all the trace minerals. I put that in my compost, and we're fine. So there's a couple problems with that logic, right? There's a couple problems with that logic. First of all, you're assuming that the organic gardener really understands trace minerals, and he's putting them in. A lot of people are just organic gardening, goes, oh, our soil is so rich, we have to do nothing for it, and they grow. And yeah, it's normal to spray with this and spray with that, because if you're organic, you're allowed to use a quote, like we talk about chemicals. There are lots of chemicals you can use that are really chemicals by nature. As a matter of fact, nicotine sulfate was so toxic, they banned it from selling it. That's how toxic that was. I was telling you, this guy called me up and said, I want you to come and spray some nicotine sulfate and kill this here borer that's attacking my tree. And I said, well, first of all, I don't use the nicotine sulfate. I used it as a kid with the little bottle and water. But when you spray, you get in your skin. My doctor said, do you smoke cigarettes? I said, we have nicotine in your body. I was like, holy shit, right? I got it out. There are ways to get it out. So I don't do that anymore. Now I concentrate. I teach him, okay, you have a disease. Why do you have the disease? Simple. Why do you have this disease? What is Mother Nature telling you? Right?
Yeah.
And you answered that question correctly. I don't know. That's not the answer. Why? I'm not feeding it right. Okay, that's part of the answer. Come on. You try to get it out of them to connect that thing that is growing in is the soil. Every time. All diseases in trees and plants are soil borne. Duh. And the reason why it's a problem of the soil is because it's the job of the soil to give you the trace minerals. And if the biology dies, the trace minerals may be there, but nothing to break it down. That's why it's no good to trickle rock dust around. One lady said, I bought 50 pounds of rock dust. First, it was too much. 50 pounds lasts me a year. Okay, on a 5-acre place I go to, I do a cup a month at that of rock dust. And even then, it's not directly. It's made into a minerally rich tea with the microbes having a party, drinking the
exactly. The microbes are there to not only break it all down, but to give it to the biology in the plant that uses it on the cells of the plant.
Exactly right. That's why I do foliar feeding. I know who that is.
It's for you.
I know who it is because the person is my business partner. Okay, so I know that I do a podcast. She knows I do a podcast here, but it's out of her consciousness. She's not thinking about it. She said, "Where are you? How come you're not answering?" Well, every Wednesday at this time I do this. You know what I mean? Probably I should I didn't know you hear it. That's kind of cool. Yeah, it is her. It is her.
Of course, I answer the phone and tell it, say hi.
Okay. Hi.
Sorry, were you on the phone? I was just going to hang up.
I'm on the. Wait a second. Say hi, Ken.
Hi, young lady. How are you today?
Good. Who's this, Ken?
It's Ken Somerville of All About the Biology channel. Andy and I are in the middle of our show.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, don't worry about it.
That's cool. We're just talking about the health of the soil, diseases. Today we're talking about, it's called the Pest-Free tree, organic pest control for trees.
Oh.
So maybe we'll get.
I blew it. I forgot that guitar today. I'm so crazy.
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about it later, okay?
Okay.
Bye.
Nice to meet you, Ken.
Nice to
Bye.
meet you, Ken. So there you go. Normally you can tape it out, you cut it out. It's one of those things where I will cut, even if I'm sick, I want to be here.
Yeah.
It's so easy to say, oh, I don't feel well, I'm busy, this has happened, life is you have an endless amount of things that gets thrown your way. And I've been doing a podcast since 1970. 1970, I literally have thousands and thousands of podcasts I have stashed away that I have done. And to me, I could literally say every show, that term, I like I said, I was calling it microbes.
Yeah.
You know, instead of the biology, because I wasn't being fair to the rest of the bacteria and the rest of the organisms is in there because they all play a part together. Somehow I had microbes as I was referring to them all, but microbes are, is it true that microbes are just a specific type of organism, or does it really cover the biology? Does it cover the whole range? You think, right? It would? They're all microbes.
Biology is anything that, biology is us. We're biology in the system. So the smaller microbiology is just that smaller biology you can only see with a microscope. The greater biology is your plants, your animals, your shredders in your soil.
So biology does cover
biology.
So biology covers everything, but also microbes will too. Right? Microbes cover all the different form of miniature microorganisms. No, it's just one specific type.
Microbes are anything that you have to see through a microscope.
Right.
Okay. Biology, like we are considered biology on this planet, so that considers everything.
Right. I was just talking about microbes, like you say, anything that you have to look through a microscope. Basically, it's a wide range of organisms in there. That's what I was talking about. But I like its biology so much better because it makes it very clear to people. Because they go, microbes? What the heck? Oh, biology. Something alive. I understand that. They understand that.
And their gut biology. Everybody's hearing about this gut biology they need.
Yeah, we're gonna have her on as a guest. There's a lady does a biomine of your stomach, and we had talked a little bit about how man decided to separate from the soil, and he had a little bit of a problem taking the biology with him. That's what the stomach was all about.
Yeah.
Finally, they ended up with a functioning way to get around with take your soil with you, right? That's so cool. But I do. To me, is I can never talk too much. I can also enjoy Luna and Queen. Oh yeah, where's Luna? Is that the kitty cat?
No, that's Luna Whitcomb on the show for Thursday
Oh yeah,
nights, and actually Alex has actually going to be moving on, so it's going to be Luna by herself. Her guest tomorrow is New York rooted Aaron Aaron Field, but we're changing her show the name to Moon Grow, so that'll be the Moon Grow show on Thursday nights now.
yeah. I'm gonna have to start watching all these. It's just so many of them going on, which is really really cool. Everybody has some really good information that they can put uh, out to people so they can learn. By the way, it's called Club IG Fan because I started Club IG a long, long, long time ago. I actually had a business it's called Organic Data Bank because I wanted to have a data bank
Okay.
of people that can go up and look for things. But I changed it since then. But unfortunately, the YouTube it's hooked on Club IG Fan, so I can't change it. I've tried to change the email stuff like that, but I've been doing this a long, long time, and really,
Yeah.
what it does is that I never get tired of the giving people the same answer because it's the same problem.
Well, the truth is the truth, Andy. You can't change the truth.
No, and they seem to they are taught that a certain disease has a certain solution. Nothing in there says anything like the arborist test I'm taking. The word biology refers to the trees, doesn't refer to the soil.
Yeah,
There's
they
nothing in
missed a big portion.
there are a few things in there that refer to the pH of the soil, what are the different layers of the soil, which is kind of cool. And maybe they say this is a layer where organic humus is in there. It doesn't really say what layers of the different biology are because in each layer they have different biology.
Yeah,
Doesn't say a word about that. Doesn't say a word about what happens when you rototill the soil. What happens when you break up all those layers that you described, right? And all of a sudden, there's one big mesh of layers. Doesn't
yeah,
work that way. There's a reason why the soil has these different layers because the biology require different environment for them to live in,
yeah.
right?
Well, that's why you'll find a different pH level around different roots because the biology is controlling the pH at those root hairs, so
Exactly.
that a biology that's more acidic can live there and produce the compounds that acidic biology mines out of the salt, sand, and clay, and to give to the plant.
Exactly. And I tell people there's a certain range of biology, but the truth is that you'll find biology in all the different ranges, but different biologies, different,
Yeah.
and they have different tasks. And
Well,
so
just think of it, a lumberjack to a coal miner to an iron miner. They all have different tasks. That's what it is
exactly,
in the soil.
exactly right. So once people understand that the ideal scenario is not to disrupt the system, but to enhance
Mhm.
the system, to work. In my book, I say it's better to work with Mother Nature than against her.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the key right there, because Mother Nature, if you get out of her way, she'll do her thing. If you
Yeah.
quit throwing a atom bomb around, so to speak, on the soil and on the water and on the air, she'll do her thing. Even if you get rid of all people on Earth, you'll be 10,000 years at least before it cleans itself up. And even then, the plastic. Well, you were talking about how microbes and biology, some of them would eat the plastic up and
Yeah.
radiation. So even that will get cleaned up. So it
Yeah.
just turns out to be we're really, really, really super messy. With not only with the soil, but with our bodies and with our environment. We're so toxic that we just can't live a simple, clean life.
Yeah.
Another thing is taking Alexandra in a different direction. We're also fortunate to have her as co-host for that time. She was with the podcast. We'll miss her. What happened? Oh, somebody, Alexandra left?
Yes, she was had a lot of time. Her husband was taking care of the kids. Now she's taking care of the kids because the husband has a job, so she doesn't have the time to spend on the platform. So we're gonna miss her a lot because she has an amazing mind. But she's actually going to be sending us some yucca and a discount code because she's making a yucca extract, I guess, now. So stay tuned for that, guys.
Cool. Is that for like a food or a medicine?
For plants. For plants.
Yeah, okay, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
seed starts and stuff like that.
Good,
So
good. I'm glad to hear that we're coming up with so much natural organic methods of doing this.
now,
Everybody's different.
Scotty wanted to know if we're talking the cation exchange capacity, right?
Well, that has to do with how different layers transfer, whether it be nutrients or whether it transfers other essential things, minerals that are needed. That's what the
Yeah.
exchange capacity is all about. And so one learns that there's actually electrical energy that flows through everything, and
Yeah.
that's very important, and it allows the transmission of energy as well as, to me, energy it has to go along with your food, because the food carries the energy carries the food, the nutrients and minerals to the plants, and each part of the plants there's a different energy that's required for the different types of cells. Each cell requires a different same thing with our bodies. Most plants don't have like a stomach to start with, so they have roots. We don't have roots, so it's an entirely different way. But to me, the plants are like trees, like that tree in the background there. I can see how the energy will flow through that tree, and it's so cool because that's what we really want, the energy exchange. It doesn't just flow through it; it gets passed on like a baton.
Yeah, from one biology to the next
Exactly, right.
biology
That's
to
why
the
it's
next
called
biology.
energy extend. And
Yeah.
you can follow the different levels, different nutrients. They all require different sources of energy in order to be transmitted. And all diseases, when I talk about mineral deficiency, what you're really talking about is a deficiency in the energy exchange, in the exchange.
Yeah.
See, so when you have a deficiency in energy, the minerals are not going to be passed on. Certain minerals are not going to be passed on. And so that's why it requires, like electricity and water requires a certain amount of the pH of the water, for example.
Yeah.
Different levels of water have different exchange energies. So, and that also goes back down to the structure of the water, because the actual structure of the water has that energy in there and the minerals. And if they're both in the right place, it will be passed on to the living organisms that also have the right energy and the ability to absorb that. And humans are very different in that we have to, by the very nature of what we are, eat something that has that ability to transfer exchange. We cannot chew on soil and expect the microbes to transfer the energy to us.
Different microbes. Well, actually, no, they're cousins to the microbes in the soil, but
They're
yeah.
Distant cousins at that. Distant cousins at that. And they may not even talk to each other. Hey, cousin, go away. You're not supposed to be here. But there is some relationship, but mainly you have to go through this process. That's why you have to eat it. You have to break it down in your body and break it down to the form that then, and that's what the microbes in your body do. The biome in your body break it down so then it can be transferred over. But you cannot transfer minerals in the form that the plants can get at.
No,
that's a whole different ball game entirely. You can try. That's one of the problems that people have. They think the minerals is the same. So let's get the minerals for plants. I have this one guy who's a doctor who is a gardener, so he's using the same minerals for people. And I keep saying, I don't think that'll work right, because it's not. So he had to learn how to make it more assimilable, because people couldn't digest it. You would drink this stuff and you still would not be getting in. You get in your body, but it'll go right out.
Well, yeah, you don't have the biology that's going to grab onto it, break it down into what you need for a human body, not what a plant needs. That's why plants, produce, or most plants produce a chemical that isn't good for the human body. But the animals can eat it, like a cow, because they got two stomachs. It's a totally different process where we're not supposed to be digesting that.
Right. There are lots of different toxins that we can digest that will just kill us. In the plant kingdom. So one of the things I want to talk a little bit briefly about is which of the trace minerals is the most important for disease control. They're all important, but one sticks out.
Okay, I'd like to hear this one. Yeah.
Well, make a guess.
Calcium. Carbon. Carbon.
No, wait, what did you say first time?
Calcium.
There you go. Right, there you go. Now, carbon is important. Carbon is used is mainly for the microbes to break down into carbonic acid so that they can then break down the minerals. That's what they use carbon for.
Don't they use it in their own bodies as well? Like our bodies are how much?
Yeah,
carbon?
we have to have carbon in our bodies.
Yeah.
So when we eat food and we eat stuff, we get carbon into our body. But the reason why we get it, we need the carbon because the microbes in our body, just like the microbes of the soil, need the carbon the carbon will do a variety of different things. It depends. It's different for the soil and different for the body. So if you eat put activated carbon in your tummy, it will absorb toxins. Buddy coming to the end of the road. Oh, we have for Buddy. Oh, what's happened? Who's Buddy?
One of their pets. It's a sad day in the household. We have a fur buddy coming to the end of the road. We have 6 older dogs that we're expecting the next year and a half to. You can't really say it's sad because it's life. Life and death comes with it. You have to accept it. My cat, I have my previous cat, and this one was 25 years old. Poppy was 18. So when Peanut was 25, that's like a third of my life. Yeah.
And she learned how to read and write, how to use a cell phone, all kinds of stuff.
She probably used that cell phone better than you can.
But it's a totally natural thing. There's no way you can expect them to live forever. Important thing is that they live happily and they die happily. You don't let them. I have somebody who keeps injecting the cat with this, taking the cat to the med, and this and that. And the poor cat's suffering more from the things that the doctors are doing than to let them die in peace.
Well, we use cannabis, and it takes the pain away, takes the anxiety away, and they can pass in peace. No pain.
Oh, really? You give it to them as a pill? Put it in
as a powder.
In their food.
Well, actually,
maybe I can take a
powder. I got some powder right here.
Yeah.
And it's what I take every day for my pain, etc. And we just wet your finger, put it in, and put it on their tongue.
You do the whole the flour, right? The flour or the leaf?
Yeah, no, the whole flour. So
you dry it up and grind it into powder.
Yeah, I decarboxylate it first.
What does that mean? Decarboxylated.
Pardon me?
What's decarboxylated?
It's what happens to your cannabis when you consume it by heat. Your cannabis needs to drop off because it's THCA, and when you decarboxylate it, it becomes THC. So you're taking the one molecule off, the acid molecule.
And what do? You heat it? You heat it up?
Yes, that's the only way. Like you can consume the THCA and have an effect, but to have more of the psychedelic effect.
So wait, when you heat it up in the oven, you want to get it before it turns into smoke and fills up the whole house and next door neighbor with smoke, or does a certain temperature or over a certain length of time?
A certain temperature over a certain length of time.
You're not going to tell me what that temperature is that right? That's a deal.
Well, in everybody's environment is different, and like as I said, I use a pressure cooker, and then there's if you want to activate the THC. There's a temperature and a time. If you want to activate the CBD, there's the same temperature, but a longer time to be able to heat up the CBD molecule to make CBD.
Personally, I would love to be able to have a powder that I could take a little bit on a regular basis to help my muscles. And at the same time, I really would be a really good idea to help my kitty cats pass on in a nice, mellow, friendly way rather than getting. I stopped taking them to the vet because they know something's up. The little heart starts beating. You're not taking me. No, I'm not. And it's like that's worse for me than the actual death. It's just taking them to the vet and then doing. And they call it, let's put them to sleep. No, you're killing them. Yeah, it's not putting them to sleep. Oh, it sounds so good, putting them to sleep. So I would love to be able to do that. And I have so many friends that are in pain for so many different things. And the doctor, I told you I was talking to the VA doctor who prescribes these chemicals for pain. And he says, "You're taking your drugs?" I go, "No." "Well, we prescribed you. You have to take it." I says, "No, I don't. I can take something better than." what I'm taking is actually working. We don't know what you're doing that's making it work, but you should be taking this drug to stop the pain. Yeah, not only does it stop the pain, but I'm like zombie. I can't walk. I can't talk. I don't remember my name, and you die faster. Yeah, that's really good.
And like Victor said, he just ordered some gummies, and that's how you're making gummies. Is you're taking it, decarboxylating it, generally putting it into carrier oil to make your gummies. So
here's an advice. The gummies, and I've been looking at it before, have this sugar, and the sugar is not natural. The sugar is a genetically modified sugar. Unless it says certified organic sugar, it's a bad sugar. So how can they be selling a medicine which has a drug in it, which is not good for you? See, so when you buy gummies, you have to say, let's see, look at the ingredients. If it says any kind of sugar, corn syrup is a big time. Corn syrup, you know it's genetically modified corn. If it's not certified organic corn, you know it's genetically modified corn. It's made so it's real sweet. Oh, you like it? No. That bypasses the benefits of the gummies. And actually what it does is that it dumbs down your brain. The gummies will help your body relax, but since your brain is really super dumb now, you're going to die a lot faster, but you'll be happy. But you're not really going to get healthier. The sugar.
Well, I think you have to consider some people don't actually put any sugar in their gummies. So
I wish that was true.
Well, I didn't put sugar in the gummies that I made. So
fine, but you made your own. You made your own. Every time I go to the store, I read it. The guy says, "Here's some free." They had Veterans Day the other day. They gave me some free stuff. I'm looking at it and I go, "Holy cow!" I mean, I just grabbed it without even opening the package, and I got a sugar rush just by holding it in my hand. I'm going, my heart's beating really fast. And honey is the best to use, right? Exactly right. Honey is the best to use.
Diggity Danks on your channel, watching today and making comments from your YouTube channel.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Dank by Drew. What does that mean? DRU. It's the main ingredient of all litter. What's in the main ingredient of all litter? It's a mean butter. Honey for...
Scotty says he makes a mean cannabis butter, and that's one for baking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Super Nessa is talking about he worked in a kitty litter factory when he was 16, I think he said, and the silica was known for cancer causing. And so Silly Lily was asking him if there were specific brands or if that was all brands.
Yeah, no, you have to really, it's the same thing with cat litter, because a lot of that's really super toxic. It causes all kinds of lung diseases and stuff like that if you don't know how to use it properly. You have to read the ingredients, have to make like you're eating the damn thing, because there's more toxins in that dust so you want to get all natural to start with. That's a good start, Yeah.
Unscented is a second.
Unscented, exactly right. I buy natural unscented, because the scent is like, you're kidding me. You're really serious a kid. The cats go, wait a minute, and because you don't die right away, it's okay. So we're so full of, I was going to say SHIT, but we're full of toxins. We literally are full of toxic, and we have to learn how to get off of that bandwagon. And one of the
biggest thing is going from acidic to alkaline in your body, and getting rid of the excess acids in your body is one of the big keys to that.
Right. You have to learn whether your body's alkaline or acidic or not. Either way, you have to have the right. Well, it's in the soil, in the bodies, we have to have the right proportion of alkalinity. Otherwise, we're in deep trouble. And it's really as simple as that. Wonder why I didn't see one's chat, but I was over there boasting Andy's algorithm. Oh, great! Thank you, Diggity. That's great. You can go back and forth, guys. I really need a boost in any way you look at it. I mean, I'm so happy to be over here, because I'm finally talking to people who are listening. I've been doing this for a long, long time. I have a certain amount of followers that follow me, but even they are starting to go a little bit like, what are you talking about? Because,
you've been doing this for so long. I think a lot of your viewers might have passed on from old age,
I have a feeling that a lot of them have pretty much moved on, because, since I started in the 70s. So, But I do have a lot of followers who are in the 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
You know, they understand the relationship of long life with the long life of the soil.
Yeah.
That's the key to it. And when I go to a farmer's market, I always come around to saying, so how's your soil? What are you doing to it? They goes, what do you mean? Well, what does it care? And then I try not to insult them, because if I tell them, you really don't know what you're doing. Absolutely don't know. You're lucky you have some good soil, something in there, but you're going to have to start taking care of that soil sooner or later. The more you grow on it, the more you have to replenish. It's called soil depletion. The more you need to replenish what you take out. It's very obvious. And if you're not letting Mother Nature put it in, you had better put it in.
Yeah.
You know, Mother Nature has used to have all these creatures, and all they did was recycle the trace minerals.
And plants. And don't forget, Andy, that what we call weeds are actually earlier transitional plants, and the biology that worked with those was specific to different compounds in the soil structure.
Exactly right.
So that when they died, they put that back in.
Exactly right.
That's why you have weeds when you work up soil, because it's trying to fix the damn soil.
I don't call them weeds. I tell people they are not weeds.
They're earlier transitional plants.
They're not weeds. Weeds give us such a bad connotation. These are bad weeds. Yeah. No, they're here to tell you something's going on with your soil. The weeds will bring, if a weed's rich in iron, your soil is deficient in iron. Because it brings it up from the depths. It brings it up. That's why I love when you say the more roots in the ground.
Yeah, and it's all about the biology.
And people don't get that. I have a lot of customers that are constantly pulling. So you have a lawn full of weeds. They don't get it. So not only do they screw up by taking that weed and throwing it away in the dump, taking it somewhere else, but so they stop that process, so the weed no longer can decompose and bring the minerals down there, but they're also paid no attention to the health to what's going on. It's like eating drink. Well, I was going to say drinking beer. Beer's got 73 different pesticides and chemicals in it. The doctor says stop drinking beer. I have a friend that says I drink five bottles of beer every day. The doctor says you should stop doing it, but if you want to do it, go ahead. Just come by here every week, and we'll give you a chemical that you can take. She doesn't get it that the beer is ruining her body. Yeah. And it's not the beer. There are lots of natural organic beer on the market that you can buy. That don't have the chemicals in it. I mean, people don't realize they use a yellowing agent, a foaming agent, and an anti-foaming agent to make sure they want something to make it foam, something so it doesn't foam too much. Yeah. Right. And the same thing.
And you also have to consider most of the time they're not even using hops anymore in beer. It's all chemical additives.
Right. Most of the time it's not. There's actually no beer in there. It's just imitation beer. But and it's the same thing with food. I learned just recently that ketchup is not really squashed tomatoes. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that they make out of it. And then you have things that are like imitation this, imitation that, but it's
white vinegar.
It's
a petroleum product.
Exactly. It's just tiny lettering that is not even the real product. Yeah. See, and a lot of people are getting freaked out when they buy stuff, thinking that is the real product. When in reality, there's only the basic simple name of it is related to it, not the actual product. We sip bourbon around here, bourbon. Yeah, whoa! I don't do any booze at all. I've never gotten it. I was a sailor. I was a undrunken sailor. All my friends were drunk except me. Yeah. I know if I told you guys, but I got court-martialed with smoking pot about 20 times. Son, men drink beer.
Real men drink beer.
Exactly. Real men drink beer. We get drunk. And I go, well, you want to join? And they court-martial me for that. Now they still court-martial you because still it may be legal, but real men don't do that. Yeah. Which is kind of weird because these are the same guys that are taking drugs for this pain, taking drugs for that pain, and they'll do much better if they didn't do the drugs and if they understood the things that they could take for pain, but they need to stop. Well, the food that they give you, I weighed 200 pounds, but I didn't like it. I was having all kinds of problems, and I reduced my weight on purpose because I stopped eating. they will give you meat. You know, so much meat to eat that you gain weight, exercise, and all that stuff. But it really costs. I didn't like it. Now I'm 160. I weigh 160. I'm 6'4". People still say you need to gain weight. That's because these guys are like bloated. They're overweight. They have all kinds of major problems, and they're not even eating good food.
Yeah.
If you were eating good food, you wouldn't be having the problem in the first place.
They don't understand what good food is, Andy.
Exactly right. They have no idea that a hamburger is not really a hamburger. The French fries you get from these places is not really. There's nothing to do with a potato. They make this goop and then run it through this thing. It looks like French fries because if they gave it to you like a goop flop you wouldn't eat it. You would say, I want it to look at least like French fries, and they run it through it, and it looks like French fries. You'll eat it.
Yeah.
And then the deep fry that it's in, it totally makes it unedible for the body. And again, when you get a disease in your body, it's because you asked for it. When the plant gets a disease in your body, it's because you allow that you're doing all the wrong things for the plant.
Your plant's not healthy.
Or a pest. Exactly right. Yep. That's why I always like to talk to people about a refractometer, because that'll help you understand what's going on with your plant. Yeah, meat isn't real anymore. You're lucky. The only way you know you got meat is you have a farm. You raise the animal, you take good care of him, you slaughter him, you eat him, you do it. That's your meat. I have no problem
we're
with
lucky
that.
here in Alberta because McDonald's tried to do their mealyworm thing in Canada, and they got caught. In Alberta, there's actual laws
what
they're not allowed to do that.
They grind up the mealyworms for it to be meat, and they sell it like meat.
Yeah,
Is that it?
That's what you guys are getting in the U.S. In most restaurants is mealyworms. It is. It sure the hell ain't beef.
No, it's not beef. Exactly right. And so it's kind of like the parallel is absolutely amazing because it's really done by the same people. We're going to spray the heck out of these plants, and you're lucky they don't spray the heck out of you.
Yeah.
Right. And it all comes back down to, I don't know, I hate to say consciousness, but that's what it is. Right. That's what it is.
Education. Let's use education more than consciousness.
Well, because education is still doesn't work if you don't have the consciousness to understand what they're talking about. So you can go and maybe learn the process, but you're not really listening to the source. So a lot of times I know people are well educated, but they're not educated in this. Like I know a lot of doctors have no idea. They're educated in the body and so forth, but they have no idea of the gardening, of growing.
Well, most doctors don't understand the endocannabinoid system, which is the electrical system that runs our whole body that plant medicine works with. They don't want us to know that because they don't want us to be healed. They want to make money.
Right. So it's not just education, it's what you learn. It comes down to what you learn, right?
And from who?
And from who. Exactly right. So that's the key right there. It's the same thing with gardening. You can learn a lot. You can go to, I was with the Master Gardener's class. I was actually a teacher in the Master Gardener's class for a little bit.
Cool.
And the only reason why I stopped was because I was a long time ago, and they weren't exactly promoting the soil biology. And it was like going around in circles. And the bottom line, they were actually getting paid by the chemical companies to have the program. A lot of educational programs are paid by the chemical companies. The colleges.
Horticultural consciousness. That's what we
horticultural
need.
consciousness. Right. Exactly right. And if you understand that, then you say, well, it's life. We have to understand the process of life, and we have to help Mother Nature. Yeah,
we were talking about this statement before the show, Andy. Gardening is therapy for me, and you were mentioning that gardening is therapy for you as well.
Of course. To me, and that's what thing is going on with me right now. And I'm really super frustrated, very upset because I live in a house and I don't have a vegetable garden. I don't have a friggin' fruit tree. I don't have a way. I mean, I stick my garden. I'm lucky that I go to people's houses and I get paid to garden. Okay, so
your dream job.
Right, I'm getting paid for my therapy. I go, cool. But it really bothers me that it's not my garden.
Yes.
I mean, when I lived in Florida, I lived on a 14,000 acre avocado grove, okay? And so I had about a quarter an acre, which I expanded and expanded. After 20 years there, people will come by and give tours.
Yeah.
the Department of Agriculture says, can we give a tour? And he will walk around and say, there's not a thing wrong with here. And they still didn't connect it. What are you doing? What is so magical that's going on here? Right? That's why I got the name Invisible Gardener, because the real invisible gardener is the biology, see, right? But they don't get it. They don't see that. That's just, oh, you have a purple thumb or a green thumb. I go, no, I have a consciousness that tells me to pay attention to the living organisms in the soil.
Yeah.
So like with the worm farm, I have a friend, and she's the one who called. See, she has a worm farm in the back house. I have it there. I said, you have to feed the worms, not making compost. I go buy a banana and an apple, and I go give it to the worms.
Yeah.
I give it to the worms. She said, what are you doing? It's not composting you. No. If you want to make compost, you do a compost bin or a tumbler, different setup. You do that. But if you want a worm farm, you're feeding the worms. The worms will die if you give them toxic stuff, rotten food. She must have killed 150,000 worms. Easy. Right? Because the worms will die under the wrong conditions.
Well, the worms eat biology, actually.
Exactly right. So the city water alone is toxic. So if you want to water down the worms with city water, you're going to kill them. Yeah. The best thing that happens is when it rains. It's natural water. Even then, the water could be toxic, flowing down acid rain, all kinds of really weird toxins. It's very difficult for the biology. I mean, the direction we're going is a sterile planet. That's the direction.
Well, and that's us too, gone very quickly too.
So I have I have a friend who's a movie producer, and I'm not allowed to mention his name or not, but he's doing a documentary on me. So he started taping. The very first question he said, "What's so important about the soil?" That was the very first question he asked me in the interview. Because he bought my book. He said, "What is so important about the soil? Tell me what's so important." And so I answered it, but it went over everybody's head, because I said, without the soil, there'll be no life on Earth. There'll be like silent crickets, and like, okay, that's not what we handle. We can't deal with that. We cannot handle that at all.
They run away in fear.
So I'm going to. I already told him. I said, okay, so that was just the truth. But what I'm going to do, he said, we need to tone it down a little bit, so the average person, 9th grade education. The average person can understand, what do you mean by there won't be any life on Earth if you don't have a living soil.
I tell people, if you can explain it to a 5-year-old and they get it, then you can explain it to most adults.
Oh, come on, they're not that nuts. I picked 9-year-old, okay? I picked a 9-year-old. I'm giving them a break, because if I pick 5-year-old, you're really calling them stupid. But and a 5-year-old is much more intelligent than a 50-year-old any day. The kid would understand there's something going on in the soil if they're really into it. Me, I didn't have to take a class to know why are things growing in here. What is it that makes the soil work? It's not an inorganic material. It's not an inanimate thing that's happening here. It's not strictly a chemical reaction.
Mm-hmm.
No, otherwise you wouldn't need the biology. It would just be a chemical reaction.
Yeah.
No, it's the biology. It's all, and I love it, because now when people, so next time, he's going to ask me that question again. I'm going to say, it's the biology. Simple as that. And that explains it all. That explains it all, because when I say life on Earth, they go, duh, this guy is really too much out there. He's not going to get it. Oh my God. How can we understand that? But if you say the biology, they have to think a little bit about it. What is that? What is the biology? What's going on? What do you mean? You see, because I want people to ask questions and understand more. And they still, and this is a very weird thing, because it's like in your body, you have a disease like cancer. You don't get it why you have the cancer. Mm-hmm. Don't really understand. All your life, you've been eating junk. You've been eating toxins. You've been doing stuff that kills your biology and your body. Those very same people, because a lot of times when I first started doing house calls with people, I would look at a place before I even walked in. If everything's dead, I would say, I don't think so.
You're not even going to get close and breathe the atmosphere, because it's going to kill you. Yeah,
I would say if it's too toxic for the ants, I'm not. And so I would give him a break. I was not going to do this. Guy comes out, it's going to help you. Oh, yeah. It's like this guy is almost dead. These people are like almost dead, zombies. I like calling them the living dead, right?
Yep.
And the relationship is right there in front of everybody's face. And the same thing with the way the agricultural business, the chemical agricultural business work is the same way with the chemical medicine business works. Identical. They're missing the whole forest for the trees. It's not even right. They don't even notice the forest. They don't notice the trees. They don't notice anything. They're just like, duh. And these are farmers that grow a lot because they used to pump. Did you hear about third world countries are going to starve because Russia is no longer selling chemical fertilizers to them for the time being? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I know that the fantasies that they want to convince us of. But Scotty, yeah, pests are attracted to sick plants. Exactly.
And the reason why the pests have evolved specifically genetically to go after specific trees when they're sick. That's why you have certain pests that always attack certain trees and leave other trees alone.
And what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to break it down, return it into the soil, so the next generation has the compounds that tree was made of, the minerals, etc.
And what happens is that the reason why. So when I talk about refractometer, it refracts the light.
Yeah.
So these creatures have in their eyes built a refractometer that refracts the light so that it can actually see that that's food for them. And the only way they can tell it's food for them because the plant will have a quote aura around it, have a certain color. Bingo. If it has another color, bingo. I can't eat it because they would know that color automatically means that I can't digest the food. And I tell people it's really very simple. There's a difference between complex carbohydrates and simple carbohydrates. Yeah. Simple carbohydrate is the main food for insects. When your plant is weak or sick, it produces simple carbohydrates. When your plant is healthy and strong, it produces complex carbohydrates. The bugs cannot digest the complex carbohydrates. Mother Nature set up really, very cool. So you have
like us trying to eat a rock.
Right, you can't.
Yeah,
you really can't. So it comes down to long-term and short-term solutions. So there's always short-term solutions to control diseases. That's why I brought up calcium. So a calcium deficiency, that's one thing you can do. The part of the issue is, okay, so you're deficient in calcium, but what it really means is that the plant is no longer processing the way it should. So you can give it calcium, and it'll go right straight through the system, will come right out, unless you have the biology in the plant. So you have to also include the biology. So that's why when I do my treatments, and this is the secret to the treatments, I get the biology, I make a liquid of it, get the trace mineral, put the biology in the liquid together. So when I'm spraying it, the biology has already broken down the liquid. They can get that. So you can't just say spray. And that's one thing that's so good about milk. What is milk?
Lactic acid bacteria.
And the biology, right, has its own biology that will, if you spray it on the leaves of the plant, that will absorb the milk, the calcium.
Yeah.
See, right? So that's
and the biology that uses the calcium.
Right, exactly right. And that's what's so cool about it, because if you find in nature a liquid from rice, that's a certain type of biology. And you provide the trace minerals to that, and then you spray. So it doesn't work if you just spray the biology with lots of trace minerals, because the biology still needs the trace minerals. It could work, say, for example, in the soil, but it takes a long time for the biology to start changing the structure of the soil. That's what happens. And so you have to help the structure. So you can't just throw biology onto the soil. You have to change the structure of the soil. You do that by amending the soil, adding compost to it, adding the right composition of organic matter to change the structure of the soil, which then allows the biology. You have to build the condos for the little biology to live in.
Exactly.
Right.
And I actually, speaking of the making a lactic acid bacteria, I actually went through the process on the R&D Grow show over 3 shows, from the rice water to adding the milk to harvesting the bacteria. So anybody who wants to learn that process, check out the R&D Grow show on this channel, and you'll find that there.
I was going to do something similar to that, but what I have to do is not use the green screen, because you can't see anything that I hold up. It all disappears. Holy cow. Then that's one of the things I'm doing in my other show is I'm going to actually be making some liquids. I have an ability to make tons and tons of different liquids. Because I realize, even if you take, for example, sprouts, you make sprouts. The liquid is called Rejuvilac. not only does the liquid have the biology, because you take that in your body, you're increasing the biology in your body. Your body will use that the liquid, which has rich in the biology. You look on the micros, you're going to see something's wiggling around. What the heck is that? And that's the stuff that your body really needs, because you're rejuvenating the microbes in your stomach.
Yeah, that's why I actually eat worm castings.
Yeah, you told me that. I think it's always time. I think we have to go, guys. We could be here a little longer, but it's time, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The hour is up, guys. So we'll have to wait till next Wednesday for the conversation. But just one thing on the PM. I'm not sure about the milk. I've never heard of anybody, or I've heard of it, but I haven't really know anybody that's done it. But I know kombucha does work. I know people that have used kombucha to get rid of PM.
PM being
powdery mildew.
Powdery mildew, calcium, powdery mildew. So, you can buy a calcium sulfate, stuff like that, but you want a natural source. The milk is excellent for, with the fat, not low fat. You want organic milk, so it's organic dairy, and you want it high fat. The fat will also help to absorb the calcium in the plant. But it takes a while, because you also have to give them a complete trace mineral diet. So not just calcium, it needs to be rich in the calcium, but you also have, and no nitrogen, doesn't need any nitrogen whatsoever. You want to have all the different trace mineral available to them. And it's going to take a while for the body to start recovering. The plant takes a while. Sometimes it could take months. It could even take years. The bigger the tree, the longer it takes. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much for coming in. Don't forget to visit my website. And next week, we're talking through the lens, understanding refractometer and organic gardening. Can't hear you. Nice. We're going now. Bye. I guess we're done. I guess we're